Hello everyone, my name is David Allen Gay, and you might know me from my video series on YouTube called David Needs a Job, or if you follow my blog at davidallengay.wordpress.com, where I talk about my unemployment and my homelessness situation. But today's video is not about that. This is why I'm doing it under my personal account as opposed to my channel, David Needs a Job, because I'm not here to talk about homelessness or unemployment today. I'm talking about the reaction by a lot of community members on YouTube about YouTube's recent changes to the terms of service and their attempts to clamp down on online harassment and banning those people who generate content that may not be acceptable to the terms of service that we all agreed to when we created an account on YouTube and agreed to watch the videos online. Now this is going to come rather strange, or sound rather strange, coming from a guy like myself who is not necessarily an online content provider that makes money. In fact, my use of YouTube has nothing to do with entertaining anybody. But I do have something to say because I am a YouTube user, and I've been a YouTube user for a very long time. As a matter of fact, I've been a YouTube user long before Google even bought the company. So I've seen a lot of changes over the past few years, and I'd like to respond to the people's reaction about how YouTube is handling those people who do videos that violate the terms of service, and as a result, their channels get closed down. And my own attitude toward people's reaction when they say, oh, it's my freedom of speech being violated, YouTube's being so unfair. I like to address that by bringing up a few points. The first thing that people need to understand is that as I said before, when we create an account on YouTube, we are presented with a terms of service agreement that we must click the agree button to. And I will admit it's a really long-ass document, but there are some things that stood out when I was watching or reading that document for the very first time. And it said very clearly, when you click agree, you are agreeing to the terms of service on YouTube as they stand, not whether they are fair or unfair to you, but what YouTube has presented. Moreover, YouTube has clearly stated that while they will try their utmost best to inform you that when a change comes down the pike that they need to make to the terms of service, they'll give you an opportunity to review it and agree to it. And if you don't agree to it, then you're basically out the door. You have to stop using the service. They also added, in addition to that, there are going to be some changes made which may not be immediately known until well after it's implemented. So YouTube has the right to change the terms of service whatever they please. But please understand, terms of service are terms of service. Terms of service is like a social contract, that you agree to for using a free service such as YouTube. You agreed, when you clicked I agree, to follow the rules as YouTube has presented them. Whether you thought they were fair or not is really not the issue. The issue is you agree to those terms. You now have an online presence on YouTube. If you want to keep that online presence, you have to follow the rules. So if something happens that you don't like, it's no use screaming your little faces off about, oh, well, this is so unfair. This is not right. That may be the case. You may be absolutely right. But you're also absolutely wrong in thinking that YouTube is under any obligation to do anything about your complaints, your tantrums, and your protests. You agreed to the terms of service. That's a contract. These are the rules they make. These are the rules that we all must follow. There are going to be some people, and I've already gotten this from quite a number of people, not surprisingly from anonymous accounts who use vulgar language to disagree with me, make fun of me, make fun of my appearance, make fun of how I talk, make fun of the fact I'm old and all this stuff. Calling me a white Nazi, calling me this. That, what about my freedom of expression? What about my rights? They don't matter. YouTube is a business. It has a CEO. It has an advisor to the CEO. It has shareholders. It generates oodles and scoodles of advertising dollars. It's a business, ladies and gentlemen. It is not a country. It is not a park where you can basically do as you please. Businesses are under their own right to operate in a certain manner, whether your rights are relevant or not. It's kind of like saying, well, I want to go into the middle of a shopping mall or a convenience store, and I want to say these things. I want to protest, excuse me, I want to protest about how much the government sucks, or how much the corporations are costing people their jobs by outsourcing overseas to third world countries for 2/3 or 1/3 the hourly wage. Your points are perfectly valid, and your right to express those viewpoints are certainly yours. You know, your right to have an opinion in whatever constitution your country guarantees those rights in. But understand, your rights to do certain things can be and usually are modified when you're within the sphere of an influence in a business. You know, again, being in a workplace, you know, you can express your opinion in a workplace, but please understand that some people may be offended by your opinion, and you might get a visit from the HR officer down the road for your comments, even though you feel you're right, and you probably are right for making these statements, and you are guaranteed under law to say these things. There's a time and place for everything, as my dad used to say. And usually in a business or a place of work, it's not one of those places. YouTube is not a public forum where you can speak your mind. YouTube is a place where you can provide video content, audio content, share it with other people, and build a community from there. But even then, it's still a business, and businesses have a right to set the rules wherever they want. So, what are your options? I mean, there are so many things that you can do. First of all, you can decide simply not to honor the terms of service anymore and leave. That means you close your account down and you go. Now, this might be of some offense to some people who run money-making initiatives online, entertaining content, political commentary content, mini-series, webisodes, stuff like that online, YouTube. And I understand that, you know, all that work that you went through, you know, registering with AdSense and or Pantheon or some of these other places where you make your money, that's going to get shut down as well. But again, understand it all goes back to how the terms of service works. Terms of service are not meant to be fair or unfair. They are rules that we all must follow. So if you want to continue the content that you're doing, and you can't seem to do it within YouTube, there are many options. The first thing that you can do is go independent and start your own service, your own video sharing service. Now, before anyone says to me, well, you can't do that, YouTube is a gorilla of a service, I can't compete against something like that, understand that just because you're big, that doesn't mean you're invincible. There was a time MySpace was the unquestioned king of social media before Facebook came along. Microsoft is starting to see its market share being eroded away by companies such as Apple, and even their operating system initiative is not as strong as it used to be thanks to the introduction of Linux. It's your show, it's your service, you can make up your own rules. Another option is pretty much doing what used to be done during my day when I was much younger, had a lot more hair and a lot less lines on my face, where we had bulletin boards and Usenet feeds and FidoNet, and that is to go to the more obscure aspects of cyberspace. And the internet's equivalent is, of course, known as the deep or dark web. And for those of you who do not know what that term means, the deep dark web, whatever term you want to call it, it's either called one or the other, is a part of the internet that is not mapped or accessible by services such as Google or Bing or Yahoo or Alta Vista or some of these other web crawler services. How big is the dark web in comparison to what we would refer to as the visible web, the surface web? Well, think of it in terms of like the iceberg. You only see a small part of the iceberg above water, but 2 2/3, maybe even 3/8 of the iceberg is usually underwater. You know, and sometimes it's the part under the water that really matters. I mean, ask the Titanic. But it's been estimated that the dark or deep web is about 500 times larger than the surface web. The web pages that you see are not the internet. It's just a small, albeit visible aspect of the internet, but it's a very tiny part. And maybe if you want to distribute the content that you want to distribute free and unfettered, like back in the days of FidoNet and the bulletin boards and Usenet, maybe the deep dark web is your next bet. You know, you can pretty much make up all the rules because there is no rules on the deep dark web. Understand, of course, it's not exactly like a safe place to be. It's kind of like being on the going off the deep end or away from the beaten path, or walking through a dark alley at night. It might get you to where you want to go, provided you don't get mugged or taken as a sucker. But understand that whatever option you take, you're going to have to give something. It's not going to be something where you basically do whatever you please. The internet, at least the modern internet that we are all now in, of which YouTube is a part of, is a grown-up internet. It's not the sort of stuff that I used to remember when I was doing bulletin boards and running my own bulletin board as a sysop, where on my BBS, you can pretty much do whatever you want as long as you don't piss me off. But now that you have the internet, it's wide open. It's very easy to reach a lot of people, and therefore it's also quite easy to piss off an awful lot of people. That is why YouTube has brought in these terms of services, because they have seen over the last 3 to 5 years just how people were behaving. People using anonymous accounts to flame, promote hate, bring negative comments toward identifiable group, attack people personally for no reason other than for laughs. To be unnecessarily and excruciatingly vicious just for the funs of it. And I am glad that YouTube has stepped in and they've done something about it. As a matter of fact, I think they can go a little bit further. If it were up to me, I would like to see the implementation of publicly identified accounts, where if you want to put content on YouTube, you show your goddamn face. You do not hide behind a cute little animal like an owl or a kangaroo or a cat or a dog or an anime character or a superhero or whatever. No avatars. You show your face. If your opinion means that much to you, have the guts to stand behind it. Show your face. Show your name. That's pretty much my say for today. I mean, if you guys want to say something, just go down in the comments section below. Say your 2 cents worth. But please understand, like I said before, YouTube is a business. We agreed to a terms of service. We have to follow the rules if we want to use their service. It's as simple as that. Thanks for watching. Have yourself a good day. Bye for now.